The challenges of implementing Common Core with ELLs, I think, are challenges that are not only for ELLs. And again, that's important because people can come together to find out how to best provide the instruction for students without ignoring the fact that for ELLs there are some things that are very unique. The shift in, for example, English language arts. Before, it was very focused on literary, right? 80% of your English language arts curriculum was focused on using literary text. Well, now it's going to be 50-50. 50% literary, 50% informational text. I honestly think it's a great idea. One, because that's what you need. I mean, you really need to be able to glean and understand what is meant in informational text. But I think for ELLs, there's an added benefit here, where when you are learning a second language, literary texts sometimes are more difficult to follow because the nuance is very much tied to certain cultures and certain background knowledges that you might not know. The shades of meaning of a word is much deeper in a literary text. And so if you don't even know the first word, you know, with, for example, warm, and then as you know, there's other words in the text that are burning, for example, can you really understand that gradation? It's harder. In an informational text, it's more concrete. You know, it's sort of like when you learn a language and you're learning very concrete things, or even conversations that are more limited. I think it might be an easier bridge for English language learners, and especially because you can still have complexity in informational text, but because it's more concrete, that all of a sudden becomes a scaffold for English language learners. So it's the challenge there to me is more of an opportunity. I think the challenge will be for teachers that have been trained in teaching based on literary text, moving it to informational. But I'm hoping that it's going to be a shift that can be done, that it's maybe not that difficult. I think the literary text, however, the challenge will be this whole notion of complex text. That's where it's going to be difficult, and that's why our work is really focusing on complex text, because ELL students have a lot of times been given simplified text when it comes time to literary text, and we need to move them off of that, give them the right level of support, know when to start pulling back the support so they themselves can use the strategies to start deconstructing text and really understanding what's in there.